Rising. I'm your Cosmic Girl 101 talking about the astrology for the month of October 2024. Trust you're all doing well out there. Everyone's going through some big changes because we're still in that eclipse frequency and vibration. We have our second eclipse happening of the eclipse series, if you will, on the 2nd of October, straight out of the gate on the month. Welcome to all return supporters of the Cosmic Girl 101 YouTube channel. And if you're new here, welcome to you. I'm a Hellenistic Western tropical astrologer. If you are a Pisces rising, 2 planets rule your first house. They're the lords of your chart, and it's your psychology. It's how people see you. It's all about the self, the first house. So you are governed by 2 planets, and they are Neptune and Jupiter. That's a lot to deal with, yeah? As a Pisces rising, I'm sure. You're a yin, mutable water rising sign. There's some big changes going on this month that are very intimately connected to your rising sign, so let's get into it. Pisces rising. Neptune and Saturn are still retrograde in your first house, and Neptune's your ruling planet. Saturn, not. Saturn rules your 12th house and your 11th house, and so you've got to slow down. That's really intimately connected to you in that first house. So Saturn goes direct on November 15, and your ruling planet goes direct on December 7. Uranus still retrograde in Taurus, your 3rd house, and goes direct on January 30 of 2025. And the big news of the month, your other ruling planet Jupiter, which has been transiting in Gemini, now stations to go into a retrograde until February 4 of 2025. This is a big deal because it's your ruling planet that rules your first house, and your ruling planet, unfortunately, is in its detriment sign. It's in a zodiac sign. It's contrary to the nature of the ruling planet, which is Mercury. Mercury wants to pull things apart, likes to have different options, and your ruling planet is about just having more systems and structure in place, and Mercury is completely different. And in Gemini, your 4th house, which is your roots, your foundation, your family, your home, real estate and property concerns, I would imagine for you as a Pisces rising, because Jupiter rules your first house, so you're heavily engaged in the 4th house topics and could find it difficult to find your feet or certainty regarding those 4th house topics. But Jupiter's now retrograding until February 4 of 2025. So you Pisces rising could experience a reduction in being scattered or pulled in many different directions regarding real estate, property, parents, parenting, foundations. Anything to do with the subterranean part of your chart is very private and intimate. And Gemini, that zodiac sign in of itself, is quite complex. It's very social. It likes to move around a lot. So I would imagine you're finding it difficult to feel settled or find some sort of peace in those 4th house topics. But Jupiter, your ruling planet, now slowing down there. You may see a slowdown in activity in the 4th house topics. So that might be a welcome retrograde for you indeed. On the 11th of October, Pluto now stations to go direct in Capricorn, your 11th house. Pluto's been in your 11th house since 2008. And your 11th house is your friends, the groups and communities that you connect with of free will. It's the house of goals and dreams for your future. It's the house connected to charity. It's the house connected to benefactors, people that support you, and also people that you support your professional life and who you are on the public stage. That's your 11th house. And the 11th house is quite social. Lots of busyness and activity and fun to be had in socializing and connecting with people of like mind, yeah? But Pluto's been transiting here since 2008 for you, Pisces rising, and is having its last hurrah in your 11th house from the 11th of October moving forward. Pluto will then ingress into the sign of Aquarius come November 19, and this will be a 20-year stay with Pluto in your 12th house. Interesting transit coming up for you as a Pisces rising. The sun, well, the sun for the first 3 weeks of the month continues its transit in Libra, your 8th house of shared resources and finances, and the sun is in fall in Libra. Quite simply, the sun doesn't operate well in the sign of Libra. It's the time of the year when the sun is dying down in light, connected to Western tropical astrology. So when the sun is losing light in your 8th house of shared resources and finances, it would be hard to rally and support a partner, if you have a business partner or even an intimate partner, anyone that's partnered up with you or connected with you financially. I could see a reduction or not a lot of activity going on there. That could feel frustrating because if you lean on others for resources and assistance, it may not be present when the sun is transiting in that 8th house for you, unfortunately. And Libra is an air cardinal yang sign. And so we're talking about social contracts and also contracts. We're talking about a lot of litigation, things to do with a legal nature as well. That is Libra. And Libra can also, unfortunately, this sign can do a lot of overcompensating and spread itself too thin. So when the sun is in fall in Libra, so you might be really hyper aware of how restrained you may be financially, or a partner's resources could be under strain when the sun is transiting in Libra, your 8th house. On the 13th, the sun trines your ruling planet, retrograde Jupiter in Gemini in detriment, your 4th house. So what's good about this day, even though the sun is in fall and Jupiter's in detriment, your ruling planet, what's easier is having a contract or more certainty with resources that support the home environment or anything connected with real estate and property concerns. Looks like you could finally get that contract, or you get the financial support you need for a mortgage, or even just financial support that helps your family or your home life in some way, shape or form. Not a bad day at all for you coming up, Pisces Rising, on the 13th of October. The sun on the 14th then squares off with Mars in Cancer, your 5th house of joy and pleasure. So the sun, Mars, I mean, we're talking about two planets that are quite bombastic in their own rights. So the sun coming up against Mars in your 5th house of joy and pleasure, what could be happening here is a partner or your resources just aren't enough to give you a sense of joy and pleasure or do the things you really want to do, enjoy dating, going out, enjoying life in general. The 5th house is the house where we get our adrenaline pumping, and the sun's squaring off with that. So it's just like resources unavailable to have fun, or it just feels like it's all about the money at the end of the day on the 14th of October. Welcome to planet Earth. Then on the 22nd, the sun ingresses into Scorpio, your 9th house, until November 21st. So the sun is now shining a light on your 9th house of international and foreign connections and travel, higher education, your religious past, spiritual practices that are familiar to you or that you are interested in, anything to do with learning, education, universities, legalities, anything to do with legal situations or social contracts is highlighted in the 9th, media and publishing. So this house is where we physically travel, or we cerebrally travel and expand. And with that expansion through it, travel or learning something, we grow. And we also develop muscles for opening up new philosophical horizons about our life experience through those actual transactions and experiences ourselves. So the sun lighting up that 9th house for you, which is Scorpio, and this is a fixed water yin sign. I mean, we're talking about going into possibly returning to people, places and faces that are very familiar to you through traveling. Could have some really nice moments of really doing your research and learning things that are of interest to you, and especially spiritual practices or religion. That could be a topic that's really important to you. And possibly trying to land some sort of contract or something concrete regarding media or publishing could be really on your mind as well, if you're so inclined, when the sun is transiting in that 9th house and that fixed water sign of Scorpio. On the 2nd of October, we have the second lunar eclipse, and it's a new moon solar eclipse in your 8th house of shared resources and finances. So a brand new beginning of financial support through your own doing, return of an investment or a partner. So some sort of contract or an agreement starts on this day that's going to assist you in regarding something stable moving forward. Could have a very feels like a, I don't know, like a karmic justice moment for you as a Pisces rising on this day. And I don't say that with, a loose intention. It just feels like something very karmic is landing that's really auspicious for you regarding your shared resources and finances, or even your own sense of wealth. Something really nice begins on this day for you on the 2nd of October. Enjoy that. On the 17th, then we have that full moon in Aries, and this is your second house of finances, assets, possessions, your money, your resources that support you. So it's highlighted this day, if you will, when the moon's in full bloom in that fiery cardinal sign of Aries, is what you have and what you don't have, and trying to create and rally in more security for yourself. You could also see a potential conflict with your finances that needs to be ironed out on the 17th. Nothing you can't handle, but it just could be a difficult day to maneuver. And if you're feeling very emotionally heightened and quite passionate on this day, maybe learn a different strategy to deliver a message that's strongly connected to your sense of security on this day, the 17th of October. Venus, our planet of attraction, she's transiting in Scorpio, opening up the month of October until the 17th. This is your ninth house. So Venus in the ninth is really good for having, social connections internationally, even financial transactions internationally, or higher education. Uh, Connecting with new people, places, and faces that feel really good to you. You could be developing new friendships or relationships when Venus is in the ninth of growth and expansion. Like you start a new course and you meet a best mate, a lifetime friend. That could happen definitely when Venus is transiting in Scorpio, your ninth house of expansion. But Venus in the ninth is only going to open you up to new experiences that are pleasurable. And you could be spending a lot of money on international travel or education, and also like investing in media and publishing, or those sorts of gadgets that you need to do such jobs if you're so inclined. But Venus is in detriment, so Venus doesn't operate so well in this zodiac sign, quite simply because it's ruled by Mars, and Venus is very contradicting to the nature of Mars. And this is the ongoing cosmic lover story, the total opposites. So Venus is trying her very best to navigate martial waters in your ninth house. So you could be coming up against some trouble in paradise regarding international travel, foreign affairs, legalities, education, spiritual practices, media or publishing, those subjects. You could be trying to navigate some tricky waters at time, and quite exacerbating in nature, very passionate exchanges, or feel like money's really slipping through your fingers, or arguments or contention about money connected to those topics is also highlighted when Venus is in detriment in Scorpio, your ninth house. On the 8th of October, Venus is then trining the ruler of the zodiac sign of Scorpio, being Mars in Cancer, your fifth house of joy and pleasure. This looks great for potentially booking an international trip or going on a trip. Something happens nice with your children, or an investment on this day that really helps you open up with those ninth house topics. So a great day to be had on the 8th of October. Enjoy that, Pisces rising. Then on the 14th, Venus is opposing retrograde Uranus in Taurus, and this is your third house of short distance travel, siblings, cousins, your neighborhood, your neighbors, your immediate environment, teaching, reading, writing, learning, vehicles, anything to do that's familiar and habitual to you. So Venus is hitting a snag here on this day and running up against retrograde Uranus in her own zodiac sign of Taurus. So Venus is opposed to not moving forward and having liberation and action and feeling restricted. So a sibling or cousin, for example, could be having a difficult time, or family or immediate environment, or something going on in your neighborhood. There just could be trouble in paradise. Could be a difficult day on the 14th of October. On the 17th, Venus then ingresses into Sagittarius till November 11, and this is your 10th house of career, your public image, how people see and know you. Now, it's an angular part of your chart, so it's always significant to understand transits when they're going through the angles in your chart. So your angles in your chart are the first house, the 10th house, 7th house, and the 4th house. And also knowing your own natal chart and planets that you have natally in those angular places. When you have transits, they're being activated, whether through oppositions, conjunctions, etc. So your homework is to know your natal chart and understand the transits and what things can be lighting up for you, if you will, or that really are drawing in your attention. Feel free to connect with me if you want a natal reading. I've provided the email in this video and in the description box below the video. So I'd love to work with you if you need some help navigating some tricky waters you may be personally experiencing. But there's also plenty of free websites out there for you to find out your own natal birth chart. By all means, do that. Okay, so Venus ingressing into your 10th house. So Venus is the great attractor, yeah? And so what you're attracting is a lot of attention publicly. Your career, your image, your public image, who you are. Are you, I don't know, are you a dancer? Are you an artist? This is where people know you through what you do in your professional life. So Venus transiting here in Sagittarius from the 17th to the November 11, you're really attracting in auspicious connections and relationships connected to your career. You could have a boost in your earning capacity when Venus is in your 10th house as well. You land some auspicious contracts. You create more friendships and relationships professionally. Venus is making you very attractive. So you could be scouted, for example, when Venus is in your 10th house for what you do professionally as well. The only caveat to this is that your ruling planet Jupiter, which rules your first house, is the planet that rules the zodiac sign of Sagittarius as well as Pisces. So this looks like you could very well be dealing with needing to be more in the public space or out in the environment. So you're being drawn out, if you will, or you're very attracted. People are drawn to you or asking for help or need you when Venus is transiting in that 10th house, that public space that rules your first house. So you could be on demand, if you will, from the 17th of October to November 11. Mercury, our personal planet of travel, markets, money, intellectual pursuits, and socializing. Well, Mercury is transiting in Libra, your 8th house, until the 13th. Mercury is like the Sherlock, the detective, really going down rabbit holes connected to resources, shared resources, finance, debt, tax, inheritance, all these subjects, contracts. Mercury really wants to know the details. And is Mercury getting the fairest deal? Is everything equal and balanced? And this is what you could be navigating with Mercury in your 8th house, opening up the month until the 13th of October. Mercury on the 6th squares off with Mars in Cancer, your 5th house. It just looks like you're hitting you're up against some sort of verbal conflict, like a social contract goes haywire on this day. That really affects your sense of joy and pleasure. A romantic partner or investment can hit a snag, but just know the details. It's only one day. But if there's anything that needs to be said or expressed on the heart, this is the day to do it. Don't covet or be wishy-washy for sure. On the 8th, Mercury then trines your ruling planet Jupiter in detriment in Gemini, your 4th house. So you've got a trine now happening, which is nice. So this is signing on a dotted line, a contract that you're happy to anchor into. Finances appear, all conversations about financial matters or resources or inheritance is highlighted to be more favorable on this day, connected to real estate, property, family, your sense of sanctuary, that subterranean part, that 4th house. So things are easier to deal with. It'd be nice cooperation, meeting of minds, lots of activity in a new home, for example. You've got a new home, or you've got the investments pay off, or you get the financial assistance to buy a new home and you're having a party at home, for example. Just a nice day to be had because Mercury's trining your ruling planet there. On the 13th, Mercury then ingresses into Scorpio, your ninth house, until November 2nd. So again, we're talking about financial exchanges. We're talking about traveling. We're talking about learning. And we're also talking about a lot of social activity with those ninth house topics of education, on business travel, media, publishing, litigation, education, religious, spiritual paths and philosophies about life. Great transit when Mercury's in that ninth house indeed. On the 30th, Mercury then opposes retrograde Uranus in Taurus, your third house. So Mercury is opposed to Uranus not moving, making any changes, or feeling stuck in that third house in an environment it doesn't want to be in. So a sibling or cousin could be going through a difficult time, or a neighbor or someone around you in your immediate environment is having difficulty with those ninth house topics of legalities, international travel, media publishing, religious paths, etc. Could be a typical day on the 30th. And then on the 31st of October, it's Halloween. Happy Halloween if you celebrate it. Mercury then trines your ruling planet Neptune retrograde in Pisces, your first house. This is great. Why is this great? Because this is like the money is available for you to travel. You can take up that educational pursuit. You could be on the move. You could be learning something new. You could be also just having a favourable outcome regarding a legal situation. Wonderful day on the 31st of October. Halloween, no less. Mars, our personal planet of action, conflict, drama, war, passion, initiation. For you, Pisces Rising, is transiting in Cancer, your fifth house, until November 3rd. Mars in the fifth house of joy and pleasure. So you think about the archetypal nature of Mars, and then you put it in a house of joy and pleasure. Oh, I'm sorry, Pisces Rising. The positive spin. Okay, we know Mars is in 4. The positive spin for you, Pisces Rising. Passion, like lots of deep, profound passion between you and a partner. Dating, romance really amplifies. Lots of sexual electricity in the air between you and your romantic connections. That's a positive spin, yeah? And there can also be conflict about sexual tension, for example, between you and partners, or emotional flare-ups between you and partners. Something needs to be dealt with here, or ironed out, or talked about. And it can be difficult because it's in the sign of Cancer. It's that cardinal watery sign. It's very yin in nature. So it's deep. Mars in Cancer wants deep, intimate connections. And there can be conflict about that for a plethora of reasons. But that's a very positive spin on Mars in Cancer for sure, in your romance, joy and pleasure house, yeah? But we're painting in broad strokes, Pisces Rising. The fifth house, the topics of the fifth house is sports, athletics. When we get back into the gym, into the fitness, it's the house of fame. It's the house of children. It's the house of creative projects where we paint art, or we sing and get pleasure out of that, doing creative projects. It's the house of fame. It's the house of investments and gambling. It's the house where we get our adrenaline pumping. We really enjoy what we're doing. So when Mars steps into this fifth house, you can expect some action, yeah? It's not going to be quiet. So children could be rowdier. You can have conflicts with children, conflicts about children. Your partner or a romance could be in conflict with children, or, just fighting with their children. I don't mean to laugh. But this is real possibilities when Mars gets in the fifth house with those topics. But Mars can also make you develop new strategies and skills on how to temper aggravation or exacerbation connected to the fifth house topics, or conflict with those topics. You can develop new muscles on how to, maneuver through tricky Cancerian waters, which are quite deep and intense at times. And anything to do with investments and gambling. I mean, this could see you gambling more, taking more of a risk with an investment as well. I mean, that could be a good or bad thing, depends what side of the fence sit on. But Mars can help you be a little bit more riskier. That could be, and quite an auspicious big payoff, for example, as well. But you're dealing with, Mars in a sign that a zodiac sign it doesn't like being in. It's not of its nature. And Mars in fall in Cancer is because, Cancer is the time, because we're talking Western tropical astrology here and Hellenistic astrology. Mars in Cancer, Cancer is the time of the year where the sun is really shiny, everyone's out and about. And Mars isn't really into that because Mars is exalted in the sign of Capricorn, which is the winter part of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. So Mars is like shining a light and having so much fun in the sun. It could just be feeling, there's so much attention on us in the fifth house or with children or with projects or gambling or investments or risky stuff or risque things going on. And it could be more visual, and that could be difficult. Yeah. So this is another thing you could be trying to navigate when Mars is in fall in Cancer, your fifth house of joy and pleasure. On the 24th of October, Mars is sextiling retrograde Uranus in Taurus, your third house. Finally, in the month, we get a sextile to Uranus instead of an opposition. So Mars sextiling retrograde Uranus. This is good for returning back to neighborhoods or reconnecting with siblings, cousins, or people that are familiar to you that give you a sense of joy and pleasure. It's like welcoming family back home, or welcoming back more settled contracts and agreements regarding cars or vehicles or technological gadgets. That's something as mundane as that could be happening on the 24th, but we'll take it. It's Mars in fall, sextiling retrograde Uranus in Taurus. So this looks like something quite nice returning that feels stable and really uplifting for you in that third house, connected to your house of joy and pleasure. Not too bad at all on the 24th of October. Then on the 28th, Mars is trining your ruling planet, Neptune, in your first house. Now, this is nice, Pisces Rising, because Mars is transiting in that. Yes, it's in fall, but it's in the house of joy and pleasure. That's connecting in a really nice astrological aspect, which is the trine to your ruling planet, Neptune, the planet of dreams, the planet of romance, the planet of love, the planet of expansion, the planet of long distance things that are unseen, a planet that likes to dream about things that aren't real. So Mars is making something very real and quite lovely happen for you on the 28th of October. So this is a romantic partner takes you on a trip or a dream or goal that you've been wanting for some time regarding your physical body or what you've wanted for a very long time happens on this day and connects in an auspicious way. Lovely day to be had for you, Pisces Rising, on the 28th of October. Stay cosmic, guys. Way to support my channel. You can scan this QR code and donate if you appreciate my work. Thank you so much in advance if you do. Book a reading with your Cosmic Girl 101. I've provided my email. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification. All these little nuances and, at times, aggravating and annoying things that us YouTube creators ask of our audience do help the channel grow and reach astrology enthusiasts such as yourselves. Much appreciated, Pisces Rising. Have yourself a fabulous month. We're in eclipse season, so there's lots of changes going on within and definitely without. So deep breaths. You've got this. Take care, guys. I'll catch you next video.